Google's allowing sideloading again. This is good news, but I still don't think this goes far enough, and I think we still need to be vigilant. Here's why. The too long didn't watch is that Google has announced that they are essentially going to require developers to go through this portal that's controlled by them. This verification program requires developers to have to pay Google and also register with them, and then Google will essentially then allow them to possibly sideload apps. The problem with this is third-party app stores like F-Droid simply cannot comply with this kind of thing, and it pretty much kills third-party app stores. It locks down the open Android ecosystem, which is bad for you. It's bad for developers. It's bad for people on custom ROMs because the developers might not develop apps for them as easily anymore. And it's even bad for the state. States are essentially making it harder and harder for people to get around app store restrictions, which is opening up users like yourself to authoritative regimes who can just ban any app they want, and then you have no way to work around it. Google is trying to take Android and make it look like iOS has always been. But here's the update. Google will allow experienced users to still install Android apps made by unverified developers. Yay! They'll get most of what they wanted by continuing to assert the Google Play dominance and overall getting an iOS ecosystem on Android that they have full control over. And they also get public approval because people are praising them for not doing the extreme thing that they originally proposed. This is goalpost shifting in action. They proposed the worst extreme thing that literally prevented and killed off everything outside of the Google Play Store for the most part. And now they're like, oh no, you can still do that, but we're going to, and I'll cover what this looks like. We're going to make it really hard for people, but it's still technically possible. And people are like, oh, sweet, thanks for listening. Don't fall for it. So they're calling this an advanced flow that allows these users, aka advanced/experienced users, in theory, it should be just as easy for you to get apps that are safe from F-Droid, any third-party app store of your choice, or the Google Play Store. The Google Play Store is phenomenal, and it's a good store, and it has every right to exist, and people have every right to download apps from it. But the fact that other things are for experienced users isn't a reflection of technical capability of the users. It's the friction points that have been artificially put up by Google to make it so only advanced users can access those things. And this reinforces that narrative. This isn't me inserting my opinion. Google says directly this new advanced flow is intended for developers and power users who have a higher risk tolerance and want the ability to download unverified apps. A lot of this really speaks to the fact that they only intend for this to be used for maybe a few select people, less than 1% of the population who's aware of all this stuff going on, without ever actually having a real alternative to the Google Play Store that's just as safe, that people can get software from, that respects them even better and gives them more freedom than the Google Play Store, which is what Google ultimately fears in this situation. They imply higher risk tolerance, and I want to remind everybody out there that on every major operating system, you're allowed to get software away from whatever the dedicated app store is. Even on Mac OS, you can just download an app from your web browser. If you're on Windows, you just download something from a website. If you're on Linux, you can just install something via a package manager, or you can just go on a website and download a file. Android has also largely made that possible, though they have made it a little bit more annoying over the years, whereas iOS, that's been the only operating system that isn't the case, and now Google wants to revert back to what iOS is offered, and it's the only option that really does this. The company says it is designing this flow specifically to resist coercion, to ensure that users aren't tricked into bypassing these safety checks while under pressure from scammer. The flow will include clear warnings to ensure that users fully understand the risks involved while installing apps made by unverified developers, but ultimately it puts the choice to do so in the user's hands. Google says it is currently gathering early feedback on the design of this feature and will share more details in the coming months. They also say that they're inviting developers who distribute apps exclusively outside the Play Store to join the early access program for developer verification. A quick note in post, I think it's really important to mention that we don't even quite know what this is going to look like yet. I've seen people say they're going to bury this in the developer options, which means it's going to be even harder to sideload apps. From my angle, it's also unclear how this impacts third-party app stores. And I think we need a lot more clarity. Follow the F-Droid blog because I reached out to Mark from F-Droid. He said he'd have announcements going forward, and as it stands, quote, "We remain opposed to the developer registration mandate." I'll touch on this site more on how to get active in a second, but one of the biggest things on this site is that if you are a developer, resist and refuse. Do not sign up for this program yet. Google's doubled down on this being about safety and security, yet they haven't really put forward exactly why this is the case. As again, every major operating system allows you to install software outside of a dedicated place, and this takes away from the fact that Google themselves has hosted malware on the Play Store. And my other point I was going to make, which one of the commenters said, is that Google already has anti-malware, which prevents, theoretically, malware from happening on Android, and it's called Google Play Protect. And this also applies to apps outside of the Play Store. So even if you install something from F-Droid and if you have Google Play services, you still have Google going in to ensure that it isn't doing anything crazy malicious. So this technology and the safety mechanisms already exist on the operating system. This is all about control, and we cannot let them use these safety and security arguments as a way to justify just taking control of the entire platform. Android is based on AOSP. It's the Android open source project, and Google's been continuing to clamp down on things. They are hiding device trees. We're seeing attempts to prevent custom ROMs and unlocked bootloaders across the board. We're now seeing Google trying to prevent sideloading. See this overall clamping going on in the Android ecosystem. It's very important to watch out for this stuff, and we cannot let Google just normalize this whole, yeah, we have to go through 3 different settings menus, and you're going to get all these warnings, and then we still have to register developers. This isn't really Google listening to us. This is Google compromising like 5% with us, and we need them to compromise at minimum like 50%. So this is still very, very early on, and I hope that we continue to push. So you might be wondering, what do we do? Well, I just made the video on action steps, and it's a whole 9 minutes teaching you everything you need to do. So go check out that video if you want the full thing, but I'll give you the TLDR. Visit keepandroidopen.org. You can check it out down in a description. You should go to your region and then follow the instructions on this site to contact any of your local regulators. This stuff really does matter. Install F-Droid, sign a change.org petition, and also contact all these different people, support different projects, and keep in touch with what's going on. And also share this around on socials. You can share this video, you can share Keep Android Open, whatever's easiest for you. When corporations control app distribution and what you can do on your device and what software you can install, they control what information we access. And by extension, governments. As I already showed in previous videos, Russia has forced these big tech companies to remove VPNs and different social platforms from their regions. We see similar things happen in China, and any other government can do the same thing. The US is playing with the concept of banning VPNs right now. And do you know how they're going to do that? They're going to tap on these big tech companies and tell them to remove VPNs from the App Store, making it almost impossible for you to install a VPN. And with sideloading becoming more and more challenging to do, it also means that these governments and big tech companies have even more power. It is a step, and I mean a tiny step, in a right direction, but there is a lot more to go in this fight if we really want to see real success. Check out Keep Android Open down in the description. And if you like this kind of content, it takes a lot of work to keep up with everything going on and relay it to all of you. So it's much appreciated if you can help support us keep this going as well. You can become a Techlorian down in the description. We're on Patreon, and we also have our own little DIY thing set up that you can check out. You can just tip us via Monero, or you can just become a member on YouTube, whatever is easiest for you. I'm going to leave this video, this 5-minute action plan video, here on the screen. So if you want to see more of what you can do, go check that out, and I'll see you all next time on Techlore.